Hello friends, today we are again here to talk about uh, the uh, next topic in the array, and that is about basically deleting an element from an array. Deleting an element from array can have two different ways to think about. One is you know that let's say there is an array and the numbers you know basically let's say I have an array of 1 2 3 4 5, and here I'm just removing, let's say, 4 from this array. So basically numbers are not repetitive, right? They're occurring only once in an array. So that is one I would say one scenario of when we delete any element from array. Second scenario could be that the number is repeating. So let's say on the same example, 1 2 3 4 5, uh, or let's say in the second example 1 2 2 3 4 5. So any number is repeating more than once. It could be like 1 2 3 3 3 as well. So in this case, how we can delete an element, or not an element, basically delete all the occurrences of any particular element from the array. Okay, so yeah, so let's get started and see how to work in, how to action on this. Okay, so basically, as you guys know that we code in C sharp, but it's pretty close to Java and C++. So if you don't know C sharp, I think it would be easy for you to understand, even relate from other similar OOPS languages as well. Okay, so how to get started? So I'll write code from scratch so that you can grasp how I'm doing. Okay, I'm just closing a few things to avoid any confusion. So let's say this is a program from where it's like, you can imagine as like a client application from where we call to the like places where we are implementing it. So let's say I'm giving the name, about just to avoid confusion, I'm just telling delete array element 2, right? So let's say it is a class, and yeah, we have the class, but there is no method of driver. So we can go and create basically method here. So public static void driver. So driver will be called from the caller function, right? And it will do the job. Basically, it will implement the features that we're talking about, the two scenarios, right? Okay, so to make it further, let's create, to make the thing simpler, we can create one integer array instead of asking from users. It's very fairly easy to ask from users as well, but just to avoid, for simplicity's sake, I'm just declaring it here. So int, let's say the array name is nums. So first we will go with basically, it is like first we'll go with the first scenario where numbers are not repeating. So this one way we can declare a fixed size, but there is another way as well where we can directly have the numbers and it will be declared. So for example, I'm saying let's say 10, 50, 30, 40, right? All at this point, or seems to be basically no number is repeating, right? So let's say there are 50, there are 5 elements starting from 10 to 15, different orders, right? They're not in a sequential or sorted. And let's say we want to remove element called, any element you can take. So let's say deleted or to be deleted element. Let's say I'm giving 30. So I want to remove 30 from here. And in the first scenario, as you can see, there is none of the numbers are repeating, right? They all are unique. Just to make sure that the numbers are, properly loaded, and just to make sure how this looks like, so we can say console dot write. We can just say array before deletion, right? We need to compare whether it's indeed got deleted, and also with the two different scenarios that we talked about. Okay, so this is the message, and then we'll loop for. So this is the typical for loop, and so in this very simple, simply basically, we'll try to basically print, and as you can see, it is right, not right line, so it won't enter the new element into the next line, and but just to make sure that there is a space between two numbers, so we can keep some space as well, so that way it is, we can see number very clearly. So let's see how this is showing up when I run this. Okay, so it should basically print out all the elements that we have just stored. So you can see 10, 50, 30, 40, 20, all elements are getting printed. Maybe we can put these into next line. So I'll add a quick snippet over there. So it's pretty simple. What we can do is we can put slash n here. So rather, instead of here, we can put over here so that it is put in the next line. Okay. Moving on. So now we got the array, and we got basically it is a scenario before calling delete. Now let's create a delete function, right, within the same class. It is going to be private because it is an internal method, so I'm creating private. Of course, static because I don't want to have a instance for that. And basically, we can say, like, we can give name like this is internal method, so we can say delete d small delete element, and we may need array, of course, the array that is holding all the elements, and we also need number to be deleted. So let's say delete element, right? So it is a uh, signature of that method. Okay. So now we're basically we are deleting that. The goal is to delete that. But before we delete, we need to find that what is the position of that particular, basically element that we are going to delete, right? So to do that, so let's say I need to store that, right? That index. So I'm just putting idx, it is index, to keep the index of that element that we're going to delete from the array, right? So the first approach won't be that efficient, but yeah, we'll evolve on that how we can make it better, and that is how we learn that. Okay, first approach was rudimentary, and of course we evolved and we made it better. So it will be like you can relate to that how we can gradually improve the implementations, right? So for that, let's say I'm creating a method. It's like a helper method or internal method, get index, and I need to pass nums, and of course the element that we need to delete. Okay. See, there are some methods as like either we can create or we can use some of those. I would say available construct to make it faster, right? So it just created this for me. Now, how to find that index? And as you remember, first scenario we are taking is that where numbers are not repeating, right? So it is like pretty straightforward. But find the index, we need to find the index of the element that we want to delete. Okay. So of course we need to loop it over the array, and uh, if it is, as you can imagine, we need to see that if the number is same, if uh, number is kind of matching with what we want to delete, we got the index, right? So in that case, if number is matching, we got the index, and we can simply return the index, and that is I. And if you notice, we told that in the first approach, we are going to we assume that numbers are not repeating. So this will return us index of the element that we are going to delete. Now we'll call this, we're calling this anyway here, and where there is error, okay, so we need to uh, return this. So either what we can do is, because it is not repeating all the time, and so it will say, so we can say here again. There are a couple of ways to handle this. So one way is that we made this declaration outer of this for loop, so int I, right, equal to 0, and just say that here we can say I. Okay, so what about this? Yeah, so basically now I will be recognized outside this loop as well, and then after all loops we can return I. So this should work now. Yeah, it's working. So basically it is more of a scoping thing, right, that we need to take care. So now we got the index of the element that we want to remove from array. And again, just to repeat, it is not, the assumption on this first approach is that elements are not repeating. Okay, so now we got index, and if after getting index, what we can do is we need to again think about it. Now we got the index of the element. Now what should we do so that we get away from that element, right? So basically, as you can imagine, that we got an index position of the element that we want to remove. Now we can push we can do the left push of the element, right? So basically we can fill that the position that got freed up, right, by the rightmost elements. Getting it? So that way, in a way we are deleting it, because we are replacing the position where the number that we're deleting, we're replacing this with our rightmost elements, right? So that is a kind of a technical way how we can achieve the deletion of array element. So how to do that? So again, we need to run the for loop. As you can imagine, it is not, first approach is not so efficient, and that is the reason that we want to improve gradually, right? That's how we can make it better. So again, typical for loop, we need to iterate over all the elements, right? Then again, here is a catch. So now you got a position, right, that which or index which matching, the first time matching, and again the assumption is that it's not repeating. So basically first instance is the only instance in this case, right? So we got a position. So should we iterate since beginning, or should we iterate since we got a position of the index? Think about it. You can pause the video if you want to think, right? Okay, so I think you might have understood that we need to start from the place from where we got the index, just to save some CPU cycles, and also it makes sense. So instead of I starting from 0, we'll start from IDX, basically index of the element that is kind of we want to remove, right? So and that's what we want exactly. So we want rightmost elements from the place we want to remove to push left side. So that is how, we'll start from index and then we'll move towards right. Okay. Now, so this loop is going, and let's see. So I told that, we were saying that how we can achieve this. We can replace the index, like position with rightmost elements, and how to do that. So nums I is a position where that element, or that index position, or whichever element is sitting here, 30 in this case, we want to remove it. So remove it, as we said, that technically to achieve is that we'll replace this with, nums plus I plus 1. So you say, that's how exactly we'll achieve that. And we'll keep rotating till this array. So basically it is like a pushing left. It's like a left, shifting left, all the elements starting the index of the element we want to remove, right? So, and again, think about the last place, like last index. If it is +1, it may go out of index. So we'll go -1 till I would say length -1, so that when we're doing +1, it is not going out of bound. Okay. And yes, so that element basically got replaced. So essentially it got deleted, you know, and now we are done, and we need to remove this. That okay, one element got removed. So the count should be less. So return, and count should be the array size, and of course we reduce one element, so -1. So we're returning basically that how many array elements are left with, right? In this case, we just consider the case where numbers in array are not repeating. So yeah, we'll look into the other. You might be thinking that if they were repeating, so we'll just going to cover the same scenario. But before that, let's see whether this worked or not. So how to test it? So we printed the elements before deletion. Now, as you notice, we are getting the count. So remove remaining, basically remaining count, remaining elements. So remaining count equal to delete element, the method that we created, and we're passing what? Nums array and the element that we're going to delete, right? Let's see if it's working, and again, to see that it's working or not, we got to print it. So to save time, we can just copy paste this one and change few things. So array after deletion, right? And here, as you notice, things looking good, and we'll print it. So let's see if it is working or not. So basically it should print first this, and after removing 30, you should print the other one. So let's test it. Here we go. Okay, so it is printing 10, 50, 30, 40, 20, right? Yeah, but it is printing this, as you can see, twice. So it pushed, did the left, I would say, movement. As you can see, 10, 50 and 30 is replaced by 40 and 20, but it is again printing 20. So we need to restrict that, we need to restrict basically. So num dot length -1 is anyway, it is basically, it will be like we're returning that how many members are left. So it is getting printed here, and we need to use this one, because this will have that, okay, now we got a less element. So it's the small change we need to do is that it is not going all the array, it is going how much elements we are left with. So now if we run, will should see the chain that we're looking for, or it should do the right thing. Here you go. So 10, 50, 30, 40, 20, and 30 gone, and 14, 20. So it is exactly doing what we want, right? So 30 got removed. So as you notice, this case we'll consider the case where none of the like elements are repeating. Now let's see because it may not happen all the time that we got the unique numbers, right? So how to handle that? Okay, so handling that, we will see that how to do that. So for that, let's take example where we are like just to make sure it is not working. For repeat case, we can repeat one of the numbers. Let's say I'm repeating again 10, right? And then run. If you run this, okay. So in this case, since we are removing 30 to make our cases stronger, let's make 30 again. So make sure that it will test that, okay, 30, it is removing from all places, duplicated also, or just one. So it will speak for its own constraint by this. So as you see, okay, let's see. So see, 30 of first occurrence is removed, but the other 30 is not. So that's the limitation of this approach. So we're going to work on that. And also the new approach got to be more efficient as well. So stay tuned. It's getting exciting. Okay, so this, we just looked at that this case, it is not handling. So 30 is coming. It's not removing the 30 across all occurrences, right? That's the constraint. So how to handle that? So what we'll do is, let's create another version of this. So what I'll do is, I'll name this delete element 2. Okay. And again, we'll try to make it more efficient. We'll try to avoid one additional loop that we had. So I'm putting this 2. Okay, keep noticing the change that I'm doing. And here I'm going to put 2. Okay. So this 2 basically will handle the case that we're just talking about, right? Yeah. So this 2 will have, there's no change here. We don't need index folks here because that's a efficient approach. So we don't need to have this, will take care about it smartly. Okay. What we instead need is that we need to have a count that will take care, that will do the job. So count, and again we need to start from 0 in this case, and okay, no change here. It will, we are not doing this, so we don't need, we can go till last element. And here we need to put this. Here we need to kind of do the real, I would say, logic, right? So what we're going to do is that we got the element that needs to be removed, right? So think about it. We can whichever occurrences it is matching, or rather we can see that wherever it is not matching, we are replacing that element. We are basically doing a left positioning, smartly. So what we can do is that if the number I is, instead of matching, we can do reverse, right? Not matching. If it is not matching, what we are going to do is, we are the count is starting from 0. So this will take care about count part. So we are kind of doing an in replace or in place replacement. So this count, and this is basically I, not I, it is a count. So it will be like each unique element it will repeat, right? So if it is not equal to this number, the count 0 will have what is not matching. So basically we are keeping all the unique elements, we are replacing in place in the array, right? And if it is, and again it is a additional counter, so we need to, it's like a custom counter, so we need to plus as well. So basically what will happen is that all the unique elements will be starting from 0. It will go all the way until we got all the unique elements left positions, and yeah, that's what we want, and they will be replaced like in place replacement. And once it is done, we are going to return the count. So it will tell that, okay, how many unique elements we got, or how till what point we need to iterate. So that exactly we wanted, folks. We wanted to basically remove the duplicate elements, and by this, by just making sure comparing with the element which are not repeating, we just exactly achieve that. And to see this action, let's do that. Let's run it. So we'll run the scenario that will, and also if you notice, it is faster also because we are looping one entire loop here. We're not going, or we're not iterating one entire loop, and also it is considering both one occurrences and as well as more than one occurrences. So we'll see that. Notice I am calling now 2. So let's see. So now this time, last time if you remember, we had like 30 was not getting removed, but let's see if it is working this time. Okay. And it is working. See, 10, 50 and 40, 20. So to both the occurrences of 30 got removed. And just to make sure it is working for the first case as well, as we told that it is like working for all. So what first case was, if you remember, we were not having the repeat number. So let's see if it is working. It's still working for first case. And it is working, as you notice. That 30 got removed and 40, 20. So it is working for both the cases. Yeah, that's the summary. And the logic is pretty efficient, just using one loop, and we are doing in place replacements, and we are done, right? So this is how we can remove any array element, basically any occurrences of any array element from the array. And this looks like a more efficient approach. Okay, moving on. So we looked into this. Let's see what is pending. So we looked into the, just to summarize, so we looked into the first approach where that works only for first occurrences of that element, and it is using 2 loops, although it is, in practically we call ON only, but if you look at detail, it is using 2 loops. So it is not as same as, or it is less faster than the second approach. Second approach is more efficient, just is using 1 loop, and it works for both the first like one occurrences of any element in the array, or more than one, as many as you can think about, right? So the second approach is more efficient. Okay, so this code is available over here. You can go through and you can check. I'm going to check in that code over here so you can find it. And yeah, this is the credentials about me, and I do have a YouTube channel, so you will be seeing that. Yeah, so that you can see basically this. And if you want to be notified for the next video, you will want to subscribe so that you don't forget that when the next video is coming. Okay, so this is the my YouTube channel, pretty easy to remember, youtube.com/techie_prakash. So that's very easy to remember. Thanks again for watching. Take care, and we'll meet next time.